One player we're going to talk about now, interesting link to the club this week, and that's Tonali. He's been linked, 19 years old. He's been called the next Pirlo. Apparently, it'll cost us 40 million. James, what do you think of this?
I mean, I do like him as a player. It feels like he's been around for a while because he broke through at, I think, 16 or 17 for Brescia. But he's had kind of a tough start to the season, really. I think he's only scored once and has 2 assists in nearly 20 games. But he's not really the kind of player who's going to be getting forward. Even when he's on the ball, he'd rather sort of facilitate other players and look to progress the ball and not be the person who gets sort of the second assist or the assist itself.
It is interesting, this, because obviously young player, our midfielders, quite a few of them are starting to get slightly older now. They're in their peak of their career, really, that sort of 27, 28 age. And when you look at Tonali, obviously, as you say, he's had a couple of seasons in it. It seems older than
he's 19. An international, isn't he?
Exactly,
he's got 3 or 4 caps for the national team.
The issue I have with it is he doesn't really match our system, and it's almost as if, to me, it almost seems as lazy journalism. Like, Liverpool have been picking up a few young players. Here's another one. Yeah,
because we've been linked in the past.
Exactly. And I think it's like I say, when you look at 40 million for a player that doesn't really match our system, that's a player that's not going to be playing in the under-23s. It's going to be a player that sticks straight into the first team. And
I don't really see him as someone who's press resistant or is going to press at the same time. I see him as more of a sitter. We already have that in Fabinho, who does also like to go forward. And we
already have that in Grujic, Chirivella, players like that. And to be honest with you, I see nothing in that. That's why I wanted to talk about it on this show rather than the transfer show later on. But I was intrigued to see
I think
what
he'll be
thought.
A very good player, but just not a Liverpool player. He'd be more suited to a more possession-based side who are happy to knock it around, aren't they, and take their time in the build-up, whereas we move quick and we go from defence to attack in seconds, don't we? I think he'd just get left behind.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, because you can see that some players are very suited to the Italian league. I'd see him as more of an Italian league sort of player. I think if he was to move overseas to the Premier League, it would take him time to settle, and I think he'd need time to nurture the role.
I think he'd have to change his game, which is what makes him such an exciting young player.
Yeah. It's very interesting how actually in the Serie A and the Premier League, how they are so different in terms of the pace of the game, stuff like that. It was interesting to see Ibrahimovic recorded the second fastest speed in Serie A last weekend, which to me...
is he 34, 35 now?
Very old now. He's sort of in the last couple of years of his career. But it's a slower league, isn't it? And I think
it suits some players.
It's benefited players like Morata in the past. And I think it benefits Tonali. But I suppose it's easy to say that because we've never seen him in the Premier League. But we might be soon, if you believe rumours. Really.